Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Crash and Burn. It's Bernard here. Excited to have you with me on part 16 of the Grand National Project. In the last episode, I started taking care of all of the rust that's in the floorboards, getting all of that together. It's going to take some time. So instead of walking you through it in detail like I usually do, I am going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to narrate and throw a lot of this on time lapse and just slow down on the important bits. That way we can just power through the floors, get the interior in the car, and get back to some of the exciting bits. I want to get this thing running, driving, and out there. And it's a little bit quicker if I do it this way for your enjoyment as well as my editing. So please like, share, subscribe. I know there's people out there who are interested in G-bodies and Grand Nationals and just older cars from when I and other people were kids and wanted to see and own them. So share it. Once this project wraps up, I do have an exciting new project to share with you. I can't wait for you all to see it, but let's get right into it. So for this section, I found another area of the car that's a little bit rotten. So I wanted to cut out that section as well. Now we are on the driver's side rear, and there's 2 additional holes right there that I'm cutting out, and I'll be welding in fresh metal there. So now I have those new floorboards in, and the key is you're just tack welding and you're spacing out your welds in different areas of the floor pan. Just because you don't want to warp the metal, you don't want to blow through it. And the plan is you just tack weld, tack weld, tack weld, and then you'll come back around the area again and again. And eventually you'll end up with a consistent weld all the way around the metal. So as you can imagine, this was pretty painstakingly long, but it's important that you take your time and do a really good job because it's where you put your weight in the car. So it's very, very important. Switching over to the passenger side front, I removed all of this area as well. So we were pretty close with our measurements. And as you can see, just tack welding in the spaces just like I did the other floorboard. So with the floorboards all welded in, I started to turn my attention to the seats. Now, I've gotten front and rear seats from a 2012 Chevy Malibu. Now, I really like this Malibu. I owned one back in the day, and it happened to be one of the most comfortable GM interiors that I've ever sat in. They have really interesting color combinations. They even have like a basketball theme. They have leather with suede in the middle. And that was the one that I chose to do because the suede has a little bit of a lighter color to it, and it went really well with the rest of the interior of the car. So I got those off of Facebook Marketplace, had to drive about an hour and a half north, maybe over to like Frederick, Maryland, and got a smoking hot deal on them. So I asked them to cut a little bit of the harness as well so I can have something to tie in. And one of the great parts about these seats, I get to wire in heated seats. So I'll be one of the G-body owners who has heated seats in their car. Heated seats, suede, leather. It's going to be a nice interior. I figure if I can't have the Lear Siegler seats right now, I might as well have something just as nice, if not nicer. So I'll take you right into the seat fabrication. There's going to be a lot of custom fab work to get these seats to fit in because they are not just drop-ins. Here goes. So what you see me doing here is there's some extra brackets that come off of the Malibu's seat frame, And I need to get those off because I need a flat surface to begin mocking up the seat tracks. This is the passenger front seat, and how it works on the Malibu is those front tangs kind of slip in and then the seat sits down. And those just aren't really needed here. Now this crossbar out in front, I needed to break that so I can bring the rails inward. A little bit more on why I needed to do that in a minute. I'm just going back and forth right now, mocking up things. And what I'm seeing is I needed to get the seat frame a little bit more flat. So I needed to remove this bracket as well. Have my welding blanket out. And now it's time to make some critical adjustments to the seat. So here's what's going on. The seat frame, the area that mounts to the car, is 14 inches on the Grand National. It's 17 inches on the Malibu. So I need to make mounting points come inward 3 inches. So that's why I cut the center bracket as well, where you pull the handle and you pull the seat up and back. You needed to shorten that and where the seats bolt in so everything can drop and fit perfectly. So now you see me welding the new brackets according to the measurements of the Grand National. And unfortunately, I started a little bit of a fire, so Smokey, I will heed your wisdom. Instead of using that towel, I should have used a blanket. That's exactly what it's there for. So by bringing in that bracket 2.5 inches and the other side in another inch, I can get the seat to fit perfectly. So that was the top part of the seat. I have to do the same thing to the back side as well. Making sure those measurements are right, and then I can start welding them in. As you can see, it's pretty hard to weld in there. You don't want to burn the foam, and you don't want to remove the entire seat because that'll just be a pain. But eventually I got it. So with everything mocked up, as you can see, I am able to move the seat forward and back just like I'm supposed to. Everything looks pretty good so far. Turning my attention back to that grab handle, I can't move forward with it like that. I'm going to have to make it one piece again. So I'm going to bust out my welding blanket again, cut everything to fit, and then weld it all back up. If I do this right, it'll be like nothing ever happened. So you may be asking, why do I want to do this on the seat? And the thing is, if you want to weld it off the seat, you could, but I don't want any surprises when it comes time to mount the seat back to the tracks. So it's best to have everything as together as possible so you can make the cut, you can weld everything, and know with confidence that when it's time to put the seat in there, everything will go according to plan. Now I'll just come back and clean it up. We'll throw some black paint on it later. It'll be smooth as glass. I will never have a more perfect vantage point at the back seat than right now. So wanted to take the time to get the back seats mounted up in the car. And it starts by drilling a couple holes and mounting the rear bracket for it. So my rivet gun is a lifesaver. I'm using these nut certs to make a factory finish type of deal. And this crossbar holds the rear of the seat upward. And this is just perfect to get everything mounted upright and looking uniform. So I'm mocking up the rear seat. I don't have the edge pieces in just because they don't fit. They're a little bit too wide, but take a look. Things look promising. That rear cushion, it sticks out a little bit too much right now. And the reason why is the hump, that tunnel right there for the exhaust and the drive shaft, it's a little too high for this cushion. So what I'll do is I'll mark both sides of the foam and I can cut that down just to give it a little bit more leeway so I can get this seat sitting a little bit lower. Because as you can see, you got like 5 inches of room there. So I want to get that a little bit lower, get a little bit more tucked in. And I'll have to carve out some room on each side so we can get these edge pieces in. But it's starting to look nice. You'll have just a little bit of room on each side. Not bad. I would like it to fill out a little bit more, but all in all, I'm liking how this is coming together. So here we are removing that middle section of foam just so we can have it sit flush on top of that transmission. Just so we can have it sit flush on top of that drive shaft tunnel. As you can see, it's looking a lot better there. So with the passenger side taken care of and the rear side all mocked up, turning our attention to the driver's seat. It's definitely the most difficult seat. It's got motors and all of that underneath it, so here goes. Okay, so we've reached an interesting point and I'm able to take a look at the mechanics and see how everything works. And honestly, I'm a little concerned about everything being able to shrink in this way and be able to attach to the seats in the car. So I'm going to take a few measurements, measure where the holes are as far as width-wise across here and across here, and of course down there as well. And then do the same measurements on the inside of the car. And what I'm looking for is how many inches do I have to shrink this? On the other side, we're about 4 inches. And if it's about the same, I'm going to have to start to figure out where I'm going to, I don't know, make the new connections so I can bring all of this in. and there's not a lot of room to work. There's a lot of moving parts here, literally. So let's see what we can do, and if we need to make other points on the vehicle, we can do that as well. But ideally, I would want these seats to be what's custom, not the car. In case somebody wants to go back to the other seats, I want to make it bolt in and go as much as possible. So we've achieved that on the passenger side. Let's hope we can do it on the driver's side. Let's see what we got. All right, so I figured out what the next steps are. These furthest points right here, from here to right here, is about 14.5 inches. And what we're aiming for is 17.5. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of this 1/2-inch square channel, bolt it to one or both of the existing ones, have a plate and another piece of square channel coming up, and we'll bolt all of this to it. And we'll have a stud coming out of the end here, and that'll extend it out for us. So what we'll have going all the way over here, and it'll be just about level or just a little bit above, and that'll give me the clearance that I need to run both of my channels that way. The only question is, if I extend this all the way out, will I have enough room to run this channel all the way this way? Or will I need to notch out right here? That remains to be seen, but before I cut anything, I'll be sure to mock everything up and make sure that this won't be an obstruction and we can get everything routed on both sides looking good. So that's the plan. I'll take a few measurements, make sure that all that lines up, and we'll get going. So here we go. This is the same 1-inch tube that I was using on the core support as well. So thankfully I have those leftover scraps, and it's just perfect for this project as well. It gives the rigidity that you need, and it's very easy to drill in and to install in the car. All right, so I got the front seat all mocked up. The rear rail holes are lined up with where they should go in this on these bracket extensions, and I just need to do the same to the front. So I've made a plan on how I'm going to connect the front 2 rails to the brackets that are on the car, and it's really just measuring, welding, and cutting. Almost there. Check it out, everybody. We're starting to get this interior together. So taking a look near the front, I'll show you this bracket that I started to mock up. I got a little bit of extra support down here, and my second bracket will come out here. I wanted to give this some extra support just because this is gonna be riding all the way out here. I just gotta push the seat back just a smidge. And I'll probably weld these 2 plates together just to give it some extra rigidity. I'll have to build a bracket for this side, and the ones for the back are already in. So let me get everything lined up, and we'll move the seat forward so we can get the back 2 holes lined up and bolted down. Now I know I say almost there like 500 times, and it's great motivation for me to keep going, but I'm starting to see this interior come together. All right, so everything is bolted on 3 corners. Just have to custom make a bracket for this side. So I'm going to do a 3-point system, same way that I did with that one. I'll have a bolt going through down here, bracket coming up here, bolt going through here, bracket going across here, and bolting down in here. So that way it'll have 3 points. It won't do any of this rocking anymore. And I can also do some more stabilizing measures on that side, especially once I weld in to get all of this flex out of the seat. So nearly done. Once I get this done, then we can start going to get the carpet in, hard wiring, seats, all that other good stuff. So all right, so we are looking good. The seat is in, it's secure, it looks great, and it's stable. All 4 corners are mounted and bolted together. I just gotta tack up the bracket that I showed you on the right side of this seat, but it's not going anywhere. What you're seeing right now, it's a flex inside of the seat itself. It's not even where it's mounted, so it's really firm. I trust it, and I think the next step is just to get everything out and clean up a little bit, get rid of those the metal shards, and then we'll start to lay carpet. So I wanted to provide a little bit of insight into what happened with the floors. After everything was welded in, I used a system called Pour 15. It's a really good coater sealer system, and it lays on flat black, and it seals and protects all of the existing metal from any further decay of rust. So that's why everything has that flat black look to it. I've heard nothing but great reviews on this product. I trust it as well. And now that all of those floor woes are behind us, we can move forward with making the interior beautiful. Excited for you guys to see what's next. Like most carpet that you buy from eBay or from the restoration places, they don't come pre-cut. So you kind of have to cut along all of the areas that you see fit just to get a factory installation performed. So as you can see, these seats have not been loved. And I tried wiping them down a little bit, but these stains just keep coming back. So I'm going to try a product called Folex. Works great on carpets inside the house. Just an overall mystery stain remover. And I'm gonna try them out on this suede, because if this doesn't work, then I'll probably be using fabric paint. So let's give this a good cleaning, see if we can get it to match the carpets closer. So let me try a bit of a spray. I'm just gonna try it on this quadrant first. This is super, it's clean, you know what I'm saying? I've washed it already, so it's good to go, but who cares about those like inconspicuous test spots? I don't do that. Let's go right for the gusto, okay? No sense in wasting product, right? But things always look good when they're wet, so let's wait till it dries, come back and see if it still looks as good as it does right now. right, and there it is just a short while later, so we know that this Folex stuff works. So let's get the rest of it cleaned up. And just to show you, I cleaned these seats beforehand, and this is the stuff that came off of it. So it works. Remember, the seat isn't bolted in, so I gotta hold it while I put in my elbow grease. Before I even put rag to seat, you can see the stains just disappear. This product is just amazing. No sponsorship or anything needed. This stuff just works. All right, so we've reached the end of the episode. I will leave you to see what the rest of the interior looks like. And on the next episode, I will start on doors, door panels, center console. We still got a few more pieces to go, but amazing progress in this episode. Check it out. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, folks. Thanks.